My name is Elias. I live in a valley town tucked between low hills where the river runs slow and clear, and the cottonwoods rustle like old gossip. Everybody here still waves from porches. The bakery smells of cinnamon every dawn. I was born in the house I still occupy, a narrow blue clapboard with a tin roof that sings in the rain. My wife, Ruth, and I raised 2 daughters in it. Ruth passed 5 years ago, quietly, in her sleep, after the cancer finally won. Our younger girl, Mara, had already moved to the city for nursing school. Our elder, Jonah, stayed close. He was the one who fixed things: fences, hearts, the leaky faucet in the church basement. Jonah had hands like his mother's, long fingers, steady. He could coax a tune from anything with strings. He wanted to open a little music shop on the square, teach kids guitar after school. He was 28 when the river took him. It was late spring, the current still swollen from snowmelt. Jonah went out at dusk to check the trout lines he kept for old men who couldn't cast anymore. The bank gave way. One shout, swallowed by water. I found his hat downstream, snagged on a root. The town searched for 3 days. On the 4th, they brought him home in a bag. Ruth was already gone by then. I sat on the porch steps and held the hat until the felt went stiff with tears. After the funeral, I stopped playing the records we loved. The house filled with a hush thicker than dust. Every morning, I walk the half-mile to the old iron bridge that crosses the river just past the willows. I bring a thermos of coffee I never drink. I lean on the rail and watch the water slide under, brown and patient. Some days I speak to the current the way Ruth once spoke to her roses, soft, coaxing, half believing it listens. I tell it about the price of oats, about the stray cat that sleeps on my woodpile, about how Jonah used to skip stones so far they vanished before the 3rd bounce. The river keeps its own counsel. One October afternoon, I saw a stranger on the far bank, a man in a faded army jacket, kneeling beside a small boy. The child was trying to dam the shallows with sticks and mud. The man watched without helping, shoulders curved like a question mark. The boy's laugh cracked the quiet, bright, reckless. Next day they were back. The man sat on a driftwood log, carving something with a pocket knife. The boy ran circles, shouting at dragonflies. I stayed on my side of the bridge, but I found myself timing my walks to theirs. On the 5th morning, the boy spotted me. He waved both arms like a windmill. "Hey, mister, you got cookies." I almost smiled. "Not today. Tomorrow. We'll see." His father, grandfather, I learned later, stood up slowly. "Noah, leave the man be." "He looks lonely," the boy said, matter of fact. The older man met my eyes across the water. Something in his face was familiar, the way grief carves the same lines on every map. He lifted a hand, half greeting, half apology. I lifted mine back. Their names were Levi and Noah. Levi had driven in from the coast after his daughter, Noah's mother, died of an overdose in a city I'd never visit. He was 61, retired mechanic, voice like gravel soaked in bourbon. Noah was 6, all elbows and questions. They rented the old Miller cabin up the dirt road, the one with the sagging porch and the honeysuckle choking the chimney. Levi came to the bridge because the river was the only thing louder than his thoughts. Noah came because Levi did. We began with nods, then single words: wind, cold, fish. One frost-rimed morning, Noah marched across the footplanks and planted himself in front of me. "I'm hungry." Levi followed, sheepish. I happened to have 2 molasses cookies in my coat pocket, leftovers from the church ladies. Noah ate his in 3 bites and declared me the cookie man. Levi ate his slower, eyes on the water. "My wife used to bake these," he said. The sentence hung between us like a bridge of its own. After that, we shared the rail most mornings. Levi whittled small boats from cottonwood. Noah launched them with ceremonial splashes. I brought an old harmonica I hadn't touched since Jonah was small. The first note came out rusty, but Noah clapped like it was Carnegie Hall. Levi asked if I knew any train songs. I did. We played Wabash Cannonball while the river kept time underneath. One December day, the sky pressed low and gray. Noah was home with a fever. Levi came alone. He leaned beside me, breath fogging. "Some nights I sit in that cabin and listen to the quiet try to eat me alive," he said. "I keep thinking if I'd answered the phone faster, driven out there sooner." He stopped, throat working. I stared at the ice skim along the banks. "I keep thinking if I'd taught Jonah to swim better or kept him home that night." My voice cracked like thin ice. We stood in the cold until our fingers went numb. Neither of us offered comfort. We just let the river carry the words downstream. Spring returned, shy and green. Levi fixed the cabin roof. I helped, mostly holding nails and telling him where the leaks had been. Noah recovered and demanded harmonica lessons. His first attempts sounded like dying geese. He laughed so hard he fell off the log. I started leaving the cabin at dusk with a casserole or a pie, excuses to check on them. Levi reciprocated with venison stew that tasted of wood smoke and regret. We never announced it, but Tuesday nights became supper on my back porch. Noah falling asleep against my knee while Levi and I talked until the stars wheeling overhead felt close enough to touch. One evening Noah tugged a folded paper from his pocket. "For you, Mr. Elias." It was a crayon drawing, 3 stick figures on a bridge, one with a harmonica, one with a beard, one small with wild hair. A blue scribble river ran beneath. The bearded figure had a red heart drawn on his chest. "That's you," Noah said. "You're not lonely anymore." I took the picture with hands that shook more than I wanted. That night I hung it beside the photograph of Ruth and the girls on the mantel. Jonah's guitar leaned in the corner, strings dull with disuse. I picked it up, tightened the pegs, and played a chord that didn't break. Summer ripened. Levi enrolled in an online course, small engine repair, something to do with his hands besides whittle sorrow into kindling. Noah started first grade. The teacher sent home notes about his imagination. I became the volunteer who fixed the school's broken ukuleles. Children called me Mr. Eli and fought to sit beside me at story time. I taught them, this little light of mine, on days when the light inside me felt borrowed. One August afternoon, Levi didn't show at the bridge. I waited until the sun bled out behind the hills, then walked the road to the cabin. The door stood open. Inside, Levi sat at the table, head in his hands. A letter lay in front of him, official stationery, crisp folds. Noah slept on the couch, thumb in mouth. Levi looked up, eyes red-rimmed. "My daughter's parents-in-law," he said. "They want custody, say I'm too old, too broken." His voice cracked on the last word. I pulled out a chair. "You're the steadiest thing that child has." He shook his head. "I wake up scared I'll ruin him the way I ruined her." I thought of Jonah's hat, the river's indifferent mouth. "We don't ruin them," I said. "We just love them the best we can with the cracks we've got." We hired a lawyer in the county seat, Ms. Alvarez, sharp as winter air. I cashed the savings bond Ruth had hidden in the cookie jar for emergencies. The hearings dragged through autumn. Noah stayed with me some nights. We built blanket forts and ate popcorn for supper. Levi sanded the porch floors until they gleamed like forgiveness. On the day the judge ruled in Levi's favor, we stood outside the courthouse blinking in weak November sun. Noah whooped and ran circles around the flagpole. Levi hugged me so hard my ribs creaked. "Thank you," he whispered. I felt Jonah's hand on my shoulder, or maybe it was the wind. Winter again, but softer. The 3 of us strung Christmas lights along the bridge rail. Noah insisted on a star at the highest point. Levi lifted him so he could hang it. Motorists slowed to look. Someone took a picture. It ended up in the local paper under the headline, "Valley Lights the Way." I played carols on the harmonica while Levi grilled steaks on a hibachi balanced on the rail. Snow started to fall, fat, silent flakes that melted on the warm metal. Noah caught them on his tongue and declared they tasted like vanilla. Years don't erase loss, they just make room around it. Levi opened a repair shop behind the feed store. Sign reads L and N Fix IT, the N smaller but bold. Noah is 10 now, all legs and opinions. He plays guitar well enough to make the old men at the VFW cry into their coffee. I still walk to the bridge every morning, but now I bring 3 mugs. Some days we talk, some days we listen to the water argue with the rocks. The drawing Noah gave me has faded, but I keep it in a frame beside Ruth's smile and Jonah's crooked grin. Last week Levi asked if I'd consider selling him the blue clapboard house. Noah needs roots, he said, and I'm tired of renting memories. I looked around at the walls that had held my whole life and felt something loosen, like a fist finally opening. It's yours, I said, but I keep the porch swing. We shook on it. I'll move into the apartment above the shop, close enough to hear Noah practice scales, far enough to let them grow without my shadow. Tonight the river is high, moonlit, singing its old indifferent song. I stand on the bridge with the harmonica, playing the lullaby Ruth used to hum. Somewhere downstream, Jonah's stones still skip. Somewhere in the dark water, Ruth's roses drift. And here on the rail, 3 mugs steam side by side. One for the man who became my brother, one for the boy who became my light, one for me, still learning how wide a heart can stretch after it's been broken open. If you're reading this and the night feels heavier than you can carry, walk to your own bridge, your own river, your own quiet place. Bring whatever you have left, a song, a cookie, a story. Someone will meet you there. The water keeps moving, and so astonishingly do.